Hello, welcome to another episode of my Minecraft beta series. Last episode we had built all of this, aside from that house there, my house, and I mentioned in that episode that we were going to be coming down to here and filling in all of this space with a big old castle. Although for that, we're going to be needing a whole bunch of stone. Which, yeah, we don't have any down here, and I looked inside of my chests in my house, and we do not have a whole load of that either. So before we get to building, we're going to have to do some collecting. So I'm going to make a bunch of iron pickaxes, and then head over to the quarry over there, and then just keep on digging down. And it's already pretty deep, but I reckon today I'm going to reach bedrock. Alright, so there we go, that should be enough for now. We're going to need some more later, but it is a good start. Oh, hello. Skeleton spawner. And so, with most of the materials collected, I was able to begin building the actual castle. So to start out with cobblestone, I went ahead and started lining out all of the walls. And this first wall was the most finicky, getting it in the right position, just with turrets, and then connecting them up with the actual wall, which you're going to be able to walk across. Had to break it down a few times, move it over, but once I did get it done in the right place, the rest of the outline was pretty smooth sailing from there. After the outline was all done, I went underneath it and brought it down to the ground with that cobblestone and stone texture I've been going with the rest of the kingdom. Had a quick view from above, and I do think it looked pretty cool. So the next job to do would be to flatten out all of the land within the walls. So I did have to cut some stuff down, but it was mainly just filling in all of the land, leaving the beaches, and of course that giant quarry I made underneath it all. So I was left with a nice flat area on top for the courtyard later on. Now after this, I actually completely changed the design of the castle. Now it was the same shape, just there was a additional wall right in the middle of it. So I did go ahead and build that. Then I moved on to building up all of the walls just a bit higher. So after getting the walls to about 7 blocks tall, at least from the inside ground level, I then went through and added a bunch of detailing to the top of it. I did this with every other block, putting a stair, and then lining the top of that with some cobblestone. And I did that all of the way around, excluding of course the turrets. I then went over to the additional wall I built earlier, and pretty much doubled the height of that, as this was going to be the front or entrance of the actual castle part, and I wanted to do this bit first so I'd get a good look of what the actual shape, what it would actually look like. So yeah, not only did I do this wall, but I actually also did the turrets on either side, even taller than this, and then another smaller wall behind that to make up the proper structure And then of course putting the trim around all of those. And at this point it was pretty basic, but like I said, it did give me a good idea of what the rest of it would look like. And with that done, I then moved on to all of the other turrets. Most of these were the same height as the ones I had already done, but there were a few of them that were quite a bit taller, and these would mark the entrances to the courtyard, of which there were 3 of these. One leading into the Spawnterbury expansion that I did in the last episode, another one going out into the water currently. I'm going to build a bridge later on, which will then connect to an island, and then the third one is to the right, where I currently don't have anything, but I will do eventually. After they're all down, I moved back over to the castle and raised up all of the walls to the same point I had done earlier with the entrance. Just again a bunch of flat walls with the cobblestone and stone texture, and once I got all of those to the same height, I went through the entire area and made some finishing touches. First of all, with these stone slabs, I went ahead and put those on top of every stair block, and then one long line along the side of that. Just the exact same thing I'd done on the border wall, separating the city and the farming area. And then of course, filling it in with all the planks, so I can actually walk across it, and continuing that through the turrets, and of course on top of them as well. I then also filled in the top of the castle with a layer of planks to act as sort of a platform, so I could build it up even taller. And when I started to line it out, I realised that something was not right. My plan wasn't quite fitting in, and I realised that I had built the entire back half 1 block too short. So what I then had to do was destroy everything beyond a certain point, then had to rebuild the entire thing from the ground up. There was no saving most of it, so that was very annoying and very time consuming, but I did it painfully, and this time the dimensions were correct, and I was able to properly start building the next part of the castle. So once I'd got that second part done of the castle, I went over to the turrets that were connected to it and went ahead and extended them up, just making them thinner and taller, going towards the top. And I did this for all of the ones in the castle, and then a couple on the exterior wall as well, because later on these were going to be connected with a bridge. But after that, like I said, I did all the ones on the castle, and out of bricks I went ahead and put some spires on top of them. Although my plan for these spires were to have 2 fences on top, so I could put flags on them. But I reached the build limit, which means I did it wrong once again. So instead of making the spires shorter, like a smart person, I went ahead and destroyed pretty much everything once more, basically just cutting down the structure a couple of blocks, and then of course adding the top and then the towers. But to get all of the towers down, I had to get some more bricks. And bricks are becoming incredibly rare in my world. I have gone in pretty much every direction in like an 1,000 to 2,000 block radius, and just decimated my clay population. But I did find a direction I hadn't gone, and got a bunch of clay I was able to make into bricks. And once I had enough of those, I went back over to the towers at the correct height, and added all of the spires to them, with the fences and the flags. And I do think it really improved the look of the castle, adding a more gothic fantasy look to it. But yeah, after that, I didn't want to leave the top of the castle, just a plateau of planks. And again with the bricks, I went over and started sloping it up into a roof. But yeah, once I got to the top, I added a smaller plateau, similar to what I have on my house, just so I could walk around. And with that done, it did pretty much finish up how the castle was going to look. Before moving on to the next part, I want to add a bit of detailing to the corners of all of the turrets. Just going through with cobblestone stairs rotating to imitate like the bricks you would see if they were real. Again, I did this on the border wall and it looked cool, and I do think it's an improvement. But yeah, after that, I went around the external walls and added canopies over all of them. These were completely made out of wood, starting out with some fences, going up and around, just completely out of wooden slabs. I did this this curved shape, so the guardsmen can walk around, stay out of the rain. I then went back over to the entrances and started making the gates. So the idea of this was to connect up both of the turrets so you can get around the entire thing, but also getting in a sort of arch shape to make the entrance look a bit better, make it more detailed, more inviting. And then of course using fences, I was able to put the actual gate you would be able to lift up and down if it were real. You can't actually lift it up and down, it's just fences, no pistons or anything. And I did the same thing for all three of them, it's the same design. And after that, I went ahead and did the bridges. The first one was on this 2-block diagonal, so I just built my way over to that, and then pretty much just followed the same design I'd already done before on all of the other walls, just with the slabs and whatnot. And then the second bridge was on a completely straight line. Again, same thing, but underneath these, I did arch them around. The straight bridge did end up looking a bit better. There was more room to curve it around, but the other one did turn out fine as well. Now, moving on into the courtyard, I started with the entrance to the castle. First of all, putting down these, which were going to be basically giant pots. It's going to put trees in these later on. In between that, a big old staircase going down, kind of getting wider the further it goes to the bottom. And then for the entrance, just a big old arch, which I can work on later with a door or something. Won't be getting the interior done in this episode. After that, I lined out the buildings that were going to be in the courtyard, these being a lot bigger than what we have in the rest of the city. Then worked on the flooring for the entire thing. The flooring here was a little bit more difficult than usual because there was so much underneath that was just air. And when it comes to gravel, obviously, it's just going to fall down. So I had to build another platform under that and then got down the gravel cobblestone combination. I then went back over to the buildings. One in particular, this was going to be the barracks like the guards barracks. So I just used all this empty space and built up a big platform. And up here I was thinking later on I could add maybe some archery targets, tables and chairs, something like that. And speaking of the barracks, I then built up that building, as well as the other two, the same design as I'd been doing before, building up the stone at the bottom, moving into the wood and wool, a couple windows every now and then. I also got some chimneys on a couple of them, and then just the triangular roofs with those cobblestone trims around it. And that was that. So before I moved on to something outside of the courtyard, I wanted to make a few finishing touches, one of which was getting those trees down and those planters. I wanted to get a fountain down, just a bit smaller than the one I have in the market area. I also have a lot of foliage in Spawnterbury, so I wanted to continue that over. So just a lot of bone meal and grass, and getting those bushes down as well. And then I moved on outside. And the first thing I needed to get down was a bridge to get over the water. So I did that, just continued the path along, added some railings along the side, and I also put a couple of carts along it as well. And after that, I wanted to build a really tall tower. Now the reason for this was because I wanted a third bridge. So I went ahead and built that up. Same thing as all of the other ones. Spire and all. And then connect it up. And then connected it up. And then connected it up with the castle with a fully diagonal bridge. And I got that down, but I thought the tower was looking a little bit weird, a little bit skinny, so I added up some supports along the bottom of it. And with that part done, I was finally finished with Spawnterbury Castle. Okie dokie. Here we are. This is we're back to live commentary. Hello. Ooh. The other commentary bit at the beginning, that was coming on 4 months ago now, which isn't great. I will explain that, where I've been, in a little bit. But first I'm just gonna do a run through of everything we've accomplished in this episode. So obviously, big old castle. Haven't done the interior. I don't even have a plan for it currently, so that might be a little while before we get back to this. Done some stuff in the courtyard. I think later on I'm probably gonna maybe get a few of those cypress trees down. I got the well, and I have done a couple of interiors. We've got the barracks, or the guards area, house, place here. Kitchen. This, I don't know what this is. I was thinking maybe some sort of prison storage area, maybe? I'm not sure. We go upstairs, got a dining table, and then back here got all of the bunk beds. And there is a second one. I've partially done this. It's just a house. People live. I've done the first floor, but not the second. Not just yet. And I have not done the third one. Nothing in here. Yeah, there's also this bit out here. My stretched tower. I think that might need a bit of work later on. Does look a bit goofy. Oh yeah, put some carts here. I've got some market stalls. There is going to be a bridge over here, so it makes sense having those out there. Yeah, this is a fairly cozy area. Still got to wait for that tree to grow, but it's pretty overgrown. Oh, I didn't mention in the video, but the insides of all of these, I have put the planks down, put the windows. And you can go up all of these as well. Go up to this floor, I did show. And you can just keep going to the top of the turrets. And that is the case for every single one of them. It didn't show off this area quite a lot. But there's nothing going on here. It's just another entrance some shrubbery around. And then I will be expanding the city out to here. I'll probably extend the wall going out this way, up to there. And enclose it in a bit. And I am going to overhaul that dock by quite a lot. We've got some plans for that. But yes, that is the exterior of the castle. All done. I am pretty happy with it. I think it is pretty majestic. But yeah, it's been a while. There was of course the summer, which I wasn't doing any recording over that time. And then my PC broke. Just died. So that took like an additional 2 weeks, I think, to get that sorted out. And then there was illnesses going about. Yeah, just one thing after the other. Not great for the schedule. But we should be all ship shape now. So yeah, things should come back to normal. I'm saying should. Can't promise anything. But I am hoping so. So next episode, I've actually already started it. We're going to be going over there, making a mining area. So we got the wood cutting area, the farming area. Going to be making the mining area next. But yeah, until then, I do want to thank you for watching. Again, sorry for the long wait, and I hope to see you in the next one.